We'll jump right into it. Azalea white lights. So this is white lights here. White lights has a little bit of a kind of a mauve color. It's a little unique on the outside, and then it opens up pure white. So we have a few of these left. We did have a little bit of an issue with one where we might have had a couple with the wrong color. We bring these in tissue culture, and we trust that our vendors are doing it correctly, but we did get a couple slip through. So, if you hear anything about somebody got the wrong color, let us know right away. And, if anything, we can help identify what color it is. And then I can pass that on to our vendors as kind of a VOTSI to them to say that they need to do a little more work on making sure they're selecting correctly. So anyways, that's where that is. It was just a few. I don't think it was a big deal, but it is to the customer. We want to make it right. But we got these still available. You can see they're opening up. Get them out as soon as you can, because they'll, in this kind of heat, they're not going to last long. Berberis. That's a big subject. Okay, there we go. So we got Orange Rocket and Crimson Cutie. So Orange Rocket there, we just put a few on. We've been sold out. It's brand new crop. So we just wanted to show you we're just there. They're not huge by any stretch. They're in a 2-gallon, but we are there. They're leafing out. They're growing every day. You can see there they're flowering a little bit. They do flower, but they really don't produce a seed. They're not sterile, but we kind of brought it online because it doesn't seem to produce any seeds. So some of these selections we made several years back because we thought that they would be better than some of the older ones out there. Crimson Cutie, though, that's a different story. It is certified sterile. So this one here, we want to push for substitutions for Pygmy or Royal Burgundy or any of those, which are really the ones they're targeting. They're also targeting Atropurpurea as being invasive. Those are the ones that they find in the woods. So more and more states are doing that. So just remember, have conversations about it. Especially if you know somebody that's sitting on some kind of association board in the state or has influence in the state somehow, or is active or a little more political active. These are the type of things to talk about because they keep hearing the shock and surprise when all of a sudden their state lists it as invasive and they didn't know anything about it till it happened. So a lot of these things are brought up in public forums, but you really got to be involved to know. So, and there isn't anything I can do. We can't do anything really to influence another state. It has to come from businesses within the state. So anyways, get off my soapbox. Bloom and Easy. So we got a collage of some photos here. We wanted to show you how great they're looking. Do we scroll down too on this one, Cheryl?
No.
Okay, just to the side. Okay, so we got cherry on top first. So you can see there that's popping out. It really kind of reminds me of a sumac almost. Kind of a dwarf type of sumac, even though it's a Sarbaria. They're in the same family because of the type of flower it gets. It gets kind of this cone reddish flower, very similar to what a sumac would get, but it stays very dwarf, doesn't seem to spread out of its zone much. They did a lot of work on that, and you get these great color contrasts as it keeps flushing. This is a plant that's going to hold interest all year long, and I think it's not very well understood out there because it's fairly new, this new line of breeding. It's going to keep throwing these reds and oranges against the golds and greens, and then it'll bloom, and the bloom actually kind of dries on the plant and still keeps its red color. So this thing is going to have interest all year long, all the way to frost. So that's what's really cool about it. It gives you a super long season with a lot of interest. So, think about that. Great plant to get out there. Spirea Rainbow Fizz. You know, this one here is in the Bloom and Easy. The nice thing about the Spirea in the Bloom and Easy program is they're super, super tough. Got northern breeding in them, you know, zone 4-ish. So, you know, we see it out here. We normally do some inside covers with Spirea. We don't bother with this one. It is just so tough, and it breaks really good. It breaks good and full. This is non-enhanced. This is breaking naturally. So that's what's great about this plant. It's always going to look good in the landscape early. Daravilla Night Glow. You know, another one, northern, considered a native, definitely towards the east. Does have some deer resistance to it. Great color. You got those, you know, burgundies and almost purplish color in it. It will get a small yellow bloom. Not really known for it, but it will come in there. And then what's the next one on over? Stunner. I can't see it. There we go. So Stunner. We like Stunner. It's a very aggressive out of the gate. You know, it's kind of a mid-size Weigelia, more like Wine and Rose is, but it gets a lot of multiple breaks. It doesn't hollow out in the bottom. Very tough, very adaptable. It can adapt way better to different soil types than the other Weigelias can. So that's why we like that one. All right. So go ahead and go. Okay, so this is Empire Yeti. They just threw this photo in real quick. This is in a little bit different program. This is in the Bloomable program. So Empire Yeti is a white bloomer against that. So, but really like it. Very tough, very clean foliage, very adaptable, great adaptability. And then there's 1,000 available. All right, go ahead and go to the next. Cheryl will update these after the meeting. So we got Gold Mound, 3-gallon Gold Mound, looking really, really good. I don't think we have double play gold in the 3.
No, we're out.
Yeah.
But there's 2.
There's 2-gallon double play golds, and then you got Gold Mound in a 3. So if you got to have a 3, go towards Gold Mound. If you want a 2, double play gold. So you can go back and forth. Obviously, Gold Mound is still really sought after by the landscape market. It's an oldie but a goodie. And you can see there, that's a today photo. So that's what they look like today. They look great. So
2,000 available.
2,000 available, good availability. Purest Mountain Fire, man, do they look fantastic. I saw these on a wagon. Normally we don't, you go figure. I cannot figure out how this spring is working, but this spring is working for Pierre's. So, you know, they tend to like cold nights. They don't like it when it gets super hot. So when you get warm nights, they can take the heat during the day, but they like to cool down at night, which is working out real good. And look at that new growth. We're well past the bloom. Okay. That happened a long time ago. But that color just coming out, and then we're going to be adding fairly soon some more Pieris. So we'll have Katsura, which gets swirls in the leaves. Those are looking great. They're just a little small, but hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll be getting those on. So a lot better looking Pieris than what we've had, and it's all been driven by weather. So great one there. Potentilla. So you can see there, we got a couple offers. So Goldfinger, the old standby, they're looking great. They're full, probably another week or so. Blooms will start coming up. So you get those nice yellow blooms, but really good growth, compact. The growers did a real good job keeping them compact because they always tend to stretch. So it's rough to keep them tight. So they've done good there. And then Bianca, which is a white with a little yellow center. This comes through the Bloom and Easy program. Very, very tough. It was selected through the Rocky Mountain Range, Upper Rocky Mountain Range. It was a selection. So very tough there. And it's, you know, it's considered a native through the Rocky Mountain region. That's where most of them come from. So but they're looking really good. We don't have huge availability, but we got some there. Salix, Huron Nashiki. So we're just starting to see the pinks come out. So this is the time to really be pushing this thing. You know, the early bloomers are wrapping up, like the lilacs and the azaleas and stuff like that. You're gonna start looking for color, you know. So this thing here is just gonna keep pushing. They really trimmed them back hard so it would be full of new growth. That's what sells this thing, that new growth with those swirls of color. And it's very important to dormant trim those hard, so you don't get like these sticks with growth on the top. So you can tell these are older plants, how full it is over the can. So we're not shipping this brand new shift kind of week, you know, big, heavy, full, but short to the pot and lots of color. Next week, they're going to be bursting with pinks. You can just see it starting. So this is the time of year for this thing. So push it. People will be very happy. Little Spark. So this is in the first edition program. Little Spark is another one. First edition really pushed these neon-y colors in the flower. So you can see there, and especially when you see it out in the nursery, you know, the photo, it's hard to capture that in a photo, but they glow. I mean, you can pick that color up a long ways away. It's not just the color, it kind of shines, and it's got, the way it does it is it's, I don't want to get too technical, but it's got these little Q tips on it. You can see there, those little eyelash hairs that come out. Those have chemicals in them the plant produces that causes it to glow, and it's how it probably evolved to attract insects. But anyways, it's really cool. I got real geeky there. I better be careful. And the spirea, you can see today photos. So we're a couple weeks away. Spirea typically don't really start to bloom until we get into June. But you can see there we got a nice full of foliage plant, bigger than the can. People are going to be happy when they get it. So 5-gallon syringa. So we wanted to talk about these again. We still got more than I like to see on these 7-gallon dark purples. We had some early bookings, and it looks like we might have lost a few bookings, and you can see the size there. I'm in a pickle. Maybe you guys can help me with this. For me to keep this going past the bloom, which the bloom is going to start to happen next week. They're going to start to open. I have to trim it pretty quick, and I'd have to trim it hard. That way I can hold it longer. And man, it just kills me to go in there and trim off all those blooms. You can see it there, how many blooms are in there. And when they open, you won't see any foliage on that plant. That plant will be covered. So feature it, focus on it. I'd much rather not have to trim it. People are just going to get wild when they get this thing. You know, it's just my pick. It's my pick of the week. Miss Kim is looking good. You can see there, Miss Kim is going to be the last one to bloom. Okay. So it is gonna be about a week after the dark purples. You start to see the color, then it will open up. You know, Miss Kim is a landscape staple. It still is. You can see there we're at spec. You know, sometimes we get them a little bigger, but you know, I think it's a good size, and you can see all the new growth flushing. So we're looking real nice. Tiny Dancer, we wanted to show you Tiny Dancer. We got some availability there in a 5-gallon. The bloom is open. So, you know, I can't make any promises for next week. We showed it to you because it's a bigger size lilac, so that might more go towards the landscaper. Be careful going to garden centers with the new sale on like vulgaris types or hyacinthifolium types, because this was the week. They're out in full bloom for the most part, Next week, they're going to start to decline. Obviously, shipping will rough that bloom up, but you know, just kind of show you there. Great plant, especially for the landscaper wholesaler, great size. Possible for the garden center, but they have to, you know, you got to talk them through it and make sure they know what they're getting. And last but not least, so Weigelia spilled wine. Just wanted to show you, we got good availability on the Weigelia overall. These were enhanced, okay? Some of them weren't enhanced. Like the Bloom and Easy types weren't enhanced. Stunner breaks a little earlier, so it looks good, but the other ones, you know, they might look a little bit sticky still. You know, the spilled wine and the wine and rose were enhanced with, you know, lots of breaks and flushes. And so you can see there we filled out, great color. These will stay great for a long time. We like to have big numbers on this plant. This is really one of those key plants. You guys move a lot of them in the end of May and June. We just wanted to show you that we have good depth on this, gives you great color, sell with confidence. They'll just keep pushing out and they'll keep looking good. Same thing with the bloom. It's more of a June bloomer. So we're a couple weeks away from really starting to see any kind of bloom on it, but you know, we can enjoy that great foliage. So